Ken says you don't waste a Super Bowl window waiting, hoping, praying for Josh Allen to happen. None of these athletic quarterbacks are Josh Allen, who took 3 years. I got to say, Ken, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Hey, Ken, Josh Allen lost 9 games in the Mountain West his last 2 years there. He was 8-5 his senior year with a 60% passing percentage. You had to have a certain amount of courage to make that pick if you're a Buffalo, because you were looking at traits. You weren't looking at a record of winning. Again, he was playing inferior competition and losing, and 59, 60%.
But he was on the worst team in that division. Like, Wyoming was really super bad. I remember watching them. It's a good point. I mean, if you're thinking like, Trey Lance or Justin Fields sits on the bench for a year and then tears it up in year 2, maybe not. Maybe they're on the Josh Allen curve. And the only thing about Buffalo is when they got Josh Allen, it was year 1 of their new coach. They were building from scratch. They could all sort of grow together. This guy's going to have a lot of pressure. If you bring in Trey Lance, he'll be afforded the 1 year on the bench, but year 2 is ready to go. You got to go, man. You got to be good.
I think whoever they're bringing in is going to start. I don't think Jimmy's going to hang around. I think they're just trying to leverage trade value. And I do think that Trey Lance can start, and he can. Kyle will design the offense to have him pass 20 times a game, do some designed runs, and to really buckle down on that stretch game.
Fair enough. But if they end up going with Mac Jones, as has been rumored by many people close to Kyle, then I think what Ken's logic here would sort of point to why. Because they feel like they're in a Super Bowl window now, and that Mac Jones, even though he lacks experience, can execute this offense now and can win. Now, he may end up being wrong about that, but if he's right, then he'll be a champion. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, counterintuitively, if Kyle does pick Mac Jones, then all of a sudden I have all this confidence in Mac Jones. It's weird to say, but I would.
I said it. I tweeted it. Like, Niner fans don't want Mac Jones. If that were to happen, they would talk themselves into him in a nanosecond because they trust Kyle. You trust Kyle. Jim says you don't want to believe it, but if it's true and that's who Kyle wants, then you'll just have to you'll do the mental gymnastics necessary. Jim says, Grant, teach us how you tame this guy. Nah, man, I can't teach that. Ain't nobody taming Big Face Kev out in these streets.
I had staff, man. We'll just put it on that. There's bacteria eating my brain, so it took me a while to get polished up.
Yeah, that'll do it. But he's back. Ryan says, what's the reaction if Kyle drafts Mac and he gets hurt due to not being mobile and we're back to square one? That's a really good point. I feel like if they take Mac Jones, it's going to be like, ooh, okay, Kyle, we trust you. And then if anytime there's a bad game, Niner fans are going to flip out. There's going to be very little patience for Mac Jones. It's going to be tough. Very little patience. Yeah, as opposed to if it were Lance or Fields, Niner fans would be so happy. So happy.
Davis Mills in the 4th if we take Mac Jones in the 1st.
Like, you know how patient Warrior fans are with James Wiseman? Like, they don't care. Yeah. It's like, dude, take your time. You'll be great. That's how Niner fans would be with Lance or Fields. But if it's Jones, they'd be like, all right, man, well, you better.
Lance is the same age as Wiseman. They both just turned 20.
You better tear it up, dude. Be right, Kyle, now.
Great. That's a great parallel, though, because Wiseman played 2 games in college, right? Like, right. I mean, he's kind of stuck the second half of the year.
Yeah, Lance is kind of like a basketball pick. Like, you're really going on traits and clips and not body of work. Because football is usually a body of work thing. It's like, it's a violent game. How long were you good? How long could you keep that up? But the game's changing. Got a couple more. ET says we need a mobile quarterback just in case our O-line is trash. Non-mobile quarterback with a trash O-line equals another losing season. Here's the one thing about Mac Jones, and I was watching him earlier today. He's definitely more mobile than Jimmy. He's not super fast, but he ran a 4.8, which is not slow for a quarterback. He's definitely more mobile than Jimmy. I would put him in like the Kirk Cousins.
What are his measurables? I didn't catch that.
He's like, I don't know.
6'3"?
6'3"-ish.
6'3"-ish.
Okay. Yeah, 6'3"-ish. If you watch him against Notre Dame, which is I think the best defense Alabama faced last year, he had about 3 or 4 scrambles in that game for first downs that were really nice. He's surprisingly quick for a guy who looks like Jimmy Garoppolo. That's all I'm saying.
He doesn't look like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Just his body type does. Okay. His face really doesn't. If they replace Jimmy with Mac Jones.
No Levi's commercials for that.
Yeah, sorry, Mac. 49ers think they're 2 elite. Okay, they think there's 2 elite quarterbacks, Lawrence and Fields, as the consensus was in January. The 49ers only traded up when Saleh said Jets are taking Wilson. Possible, man. It's possible. A lot of people very close to Kyle seem very certain it's Mac Jones, but as Big Face Kev pointed out, there is a history of surprise and no leaks.
Hey, let's address that concept that he had in there about how people think that Saleh is going to be tipping his hand to Shanahan. I mean,
yeah, even Jim Morris told that to me. I was like, wow, really, coaching his dad?
I mean, I just don't buy that at all. That is super unprofessional. And if he is doing that, then he should get fired right away because he's in charge of his own team now. He shouldn't be doing that. It's a competitive imbalance. He get fined by the NFL, and those guys are professionals. I don't even think Kyle would pick up the phone to do that. He knows it's wrong.
That's fair. Julian says you can trade down for Mac Jones. Yeah, I'm telling Niner fans are not going to be excited if that's the move.